Hi guys, this week's reading log is about the higher power of Lucky, and it's by Suzanne Petron and illustrated by Matt Fallon, published by the Simon & Schuster Children's Publishing Division in 2016, and it's for the ages between 9 and 11. It has a total of 134 pages, and its genre is fiction. And the main characters in this book are Lucy, who is the girl you can see here. She's a 10-year-old girl living in Hardpan, California, with a total population of 43 people. And it starts off by letting us know that Lucky is being taken care of under a guardian because her mother was electrocuted when she stepped on a wire after a storm barefoot, and so what happened was that she had to have a guardian, and her father, who did not like children, called his ex-wife, who was named Bridget, and Bridget came over from France to California to take care of her. And the plan was to have take care of Lucky for a couple of days until she was able to be put into foster care. And that didn't end up happening. So 2 years later, she's still with Lucky. She has two friends in the book, Miles, who's a 5-year-old boy, and Lincoln, who is a 10-year-old boy. And her dog is named HMS Beagle. The story begins with her eavesdropping behind the Hard Pans Found Object Wind Chime Museum and the Visitor Center. And this is where they have the 12-step anonymous for people who are trying to stop drinking, to stop smoking, and other things as well. And what she hears from these meetings is that they keep talking about the higher power. And that is what Lucky's trying to get. Bridget is taking care of Lucky, and what happens in the story is that towards the middle of the story, Lucky finds Bridget's passport and suitcase and a couple of documents in it out in the living room. And so Lucky's kind of panicking because she hasn't seen this suitcase. And she's thinking that Bridget is getting ready to leave her and go back to France. And so Lucky automatically starts jumping to conclusions, and she starts preparing because she's going to run away, hoping that that will make them decide to stay with her and get her father to come and talk to her as well. And while she's trying to get ready to run away, she's getting all the materials that she'll need. Miles, the little boy that's 5 years old, comes over and asks her to read a book. And while this is all happening, there's a sandstorm that's preparing to happen and hit. So she's kind of frustrated because he's in the way and it's not letting her get ready. So she starts yelling at him and being rude to him, and she makes him cry. So he leaves. And so as she's finishing up her preparations, she gets a phone call from Miles' grandmother, and she's asking her if she's seen him, and she says no. And then she also gets another phone call from Lincoln, and he's also asking about Miles. So now she realizes that Miles is gone, and she doesn't want the main focus to be on Miles, but to be on her. So she just goes off and runs away. And on her journey there, she actually runs into a pile of rags, which ends up being Miles and covered with those rags. And she realizes that she has to now get him to safety and be able to get out of the sandstorm. And I feel like this is a good book for students to read. I mean, it has been controversial due to the word scrotum in the book, and it does mention it in the beginning of the book, and it talks about one of the people in the 12 steps of Anonymous is that he tells a story of how he came to realize that what his drinking had done, and that his dog had rescued or kind of saved him from getting bitten by a snake, and the dog was bit in the scrotum. So that's pretty much all it talks about. And then towards the end, Lucky actually asked Bridget about that word, and Bridget's definition of scrotum was that, let me find it here. I should have bookmarked it earlier. She says it's a little sac of the man or the animal which has in it the sperm to make a baby. And that's pretty much all it says. So, I mean, I don't know if it'd be too controversial. I mean, I guess we would have to talk to like other teachers in school district or the school that you attend and discuss the issues in the book. Besides that, I don't think it's much to worry about. In my opinion, I don't think it would be much a big deal. I think it would be a good book because it does talk about what adults have to deal with in life, and that it's not sometimes easy to quit to do a certain habit that you have acquired throughout your life. And it also mentions how Lucky dealt with, or how she coped with the death of her mother. Because her mother had died, she had actually prepared a emergency kit in which she is prepared in case another person were to die or if she were to be left by her guardian. And I think it would be great for children to know that, there's things going on in other people's lives, and we can get an idea of what Lucky goes through in the book. And this is just some of the illustrations that it has in the book. That's actually the trailers that they live in. It's a small population, so this is like their neighborhood. And there's not really that many illustrations in here, just a couple here and there. But they're pretty good. So I think this would be a really good book. And I mean, depending on if you're okay with using the word scrotum in your book or having to talk to children about it, but it's a really good book.